guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I'm Miss Sarah and today we get to paint this beautiful fairy and her friend the hare. I hope you enjoy this with me. I love fantasy and I've always wanted to paint something like this, so the goal is to have a good time together and to learn together. As you create, be kind to yourself. You've never painted this before. This is your first time, okay? So you're going to paint different than I paint. We all see art differently. That's what makes it so beautiful. So I hope you have an enjoyable experience. And remember, you can pause the video. You don't have to go at my pace. Take your time, okay? If you want to come back later and work on it some more, you can. You have options. So let's get started. I'm going to use a couple of brushes today. I have a large flat, a medium flat, and a detail brush. You're definitely going to need a detail brush and a flat, okay? Any size works as long as you are comfortable with it. So first things first, make sure your paint is all laid out to where you can get to it quickly. You're going to need your white and colors, very accessible. I have them all laid out on a plate for me. Looks like this, so I can get to it quickly. I also have a jar of water. The first thing you'll want to do is take your large flat and put it in your water to loosen up the bristles, okay? Very important when we're painting with acrylics that our bristles are wet, okay? Especially when we're floating. Our background's going to be floated. That's where you mix your colors together as you go, okay? And they blend together smoothly. In order to do that, you have to go quickly, all right? So you'll notice I'm moving pretty quickly. That is on purpose. It takes some practice. One of the beautiful things with these colors is all of them blend together wonderfully, and they're beautiful no matter what. They don't have to be exactly like mine, okay? It's just gonna be beautiful no matter what. So let's start out first. We're gonna go around our moon. I did not paint inside my moon. I left it the color of the canvas, all right? If you wanna paint the inside white, you can, but first grab some white, okay, on the corner of your brush like this, and I'm starting off with pink. So I'm putting pink on the other corner. So my brush looks like this. I have white and pink, okay? And I'm gonna face the white towards my moon and start brushing around. My canvas is slightly smaller than yours probably here. So my fairy is closer to the top than yours will be. That's okay. All right, you're gonna do the same thing anyway as I'm doing. Just follow around your moon. Now our colors are transparent. The colors we've chosen, if you're using our paint kit, we've chosen very transparent colors because it gives you a lot of freedom. You'll be able to see, you'll be able to see the tracing through the colors. That's what we want. That way you don't have the stress of losing it. If for any reason you do start to lose your fairy and you can't see her very well anymore, just take a minute to pause the video, okay? Get a brush and just trace her back in really quick, okay? But I'm gonna move pretty fast. I wanna keep moving, okay? And I'm just going in a circle around my fairy. And every time I load my brush, I do the same thing. I put white on one corner and pink on the other. You want to continue to do that and let those streaks show, all right? Your streaks are gonna show. Now, if you're not using our paint kit and you're doing this with our tutorial online, awesome. That is so great. Love that you're doing that. You had a pattern included. So take your pattern, you can cut it out. You can use transfer paper, whatever works best for you to put your pattern on any size canvas. And since you have that pattern handy from our tutorial, you'll be able to easily trace your fairy back in with your pattern if you need to. Same with your hair. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure I have those white streaks. I like the white streaks. I'm leaving them in there. Okay, so every time I load my brush, I put some white on there. I leave those streaks. Okay, I'm going to move on to my next color. My next color is purple, so I'm putting white and purple on my brush the same way. purple on one side, white on the other. Okay, I'm gonna go right into my pink. Right, I want them to connect. I'm gonna put a little more water on my brush because when you are doing this floating, if you're drying up, you need to add some water for sure. Water is key when you're blending colors like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep moving. And as you can see, I'm letting my purple go into my white. Okay, just letting it go into my white and my pink. Okay, and I'm leaving those fun streaks. I'm not gonna paint them over. I want to leave the streaks. Okay, there you go. So I'm good there. Now I'm going to add my next color. And now that I've gotten to the edge with my purple here, I'm gonna rinse my brush. My next color is turquoise, and I don't want my turquoise and my purple blending too much. I want it to really stand out. So I'm gonna grab now some white on one corner and turquoise on the other. Okay, and come right below our purple here. Start below the purple and work your way up into it with your turquoise. Just like that. Okay, and you see I'm keep on going back to my paint. I dip turquoise on one side and white on the other. Now as I get to my hair, you can choose to paint right over it, okay? Or you can come to the other side and just gently paint into your hair right there. That's up to you. Okay, if you're worried about losing your hair, you can just go on each side and go around. That works great. All right, so you kind of decide how far down you want to come with this turquoise. That's up to you. Totally up to you. And again, I'm leaving a lot of my white streaks. I love the white streaks. It gives it that mystical feel about it, which I love. So I'm just letting those white streaks be. Okay. I painted into my hair, but I can still see my hair really well. If you're worried about it, be sure to just go around. Okay, now my next color is going to be my phthalo blue. It's a dark blue, right? And I want more white than and I'm not rinsing my brush. I've just left my turquoise on it. I want more white than my blue, so I'm just adding a little bit of blue and mostly white to my brush. See that? Okay, and I'm starting below my turquoise again and working my way up into it. See that? So I'm starting below. Be sure to start below instead of blending right into your turquoise. It will also give you those streaks and lighten your blue as you go. Okay, there we go. See how it gives us those streaks but also makes it a little lighter. And now as I get close to my hair, again, I'm just gonna kind of gently brush into my hair so I don't lose my trace there. Okay, just gently so I can still see my hair. And then I'm gonna come right over here and do the same thing, just a little bit here by the ears. Blend into, but I can still see really well. Okay, a lot of this is going to be black, so it doesn't need to be perfect over there. Now let's go up to the top of our canvas with our dark blue and white, okay, for the corners. And we're just going to let that dark blue fade into our purple. If your purple's already dry, put a little more purple on your brush to help it fade better on the corner. There we go. But that will balance your canvas so that the top and the bottom come together really nicely. There we go. Okay. I want this more purple right there. I'm going to add a little more white and purple, make sure that's nice and light there. Don't want to lose my hair, so be sure you can still see it. All right, so let's go to the other corner. Same thing, I'm just putting that blue on my brush, brushing it in up here to tie in the bottom of our canvas with the top. Beautiful. Okay, now that that is done, let's go ahead and paint the bottom here, okay, our ground. And we're just going to use the Phthalo Blue with some white. Okay, face the white up. Face the white up. I'm going to do a lot more white so you can see it. So I'm going to follow my outline. Just like this. Okay. Let's paint that in. You can do any kind of outline you want here at the bottom. You don't have to do it like mine. You can do it any way you want. Any way, okay? But when you blend white and the blue together like this, you're gonna get different shades on the bottom. That's our goal. That is what we want, okay? So I'm gonna paint the bottom first. Remember to kind of face the light up. All the way over to our hair, just like that. Once I get to my hair, I'm just going to go around the feet here. And remember, we're going to have grass and flowers and everything here, so don't stress it too much. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. Just want those different shades happening. Okay, I'm going to fill this in. Make sure we have a good amount around our hair there. Okay, now once this is done, you can now split the ground so you have, oh, I want it a little higher. Okay, so once you have the basic little hill there, okay, now I'm going to take dark blue on the corner of my brush, just like that, okay? And I'm going to create a little bit of a separation with a hill, and then they come together, okay? Now this is going to be black later, so you don't have to worry too much about it being dark enough right now. You're just giving it enough as a guide for yourself, okay? But you can kind of see the outline there. So you have the outline for the top and the bottom. So now your hill is done. Good work. Let's rinse our brush. Okay, so your moon is in and the ground, we can start working on your fairy. All right, so grab a detail brush and let's make sure our black has enough water in it for this. To work on, to outline and do little detail work with this line brush, you need to make sure your black is very thin, right? So I'm going to add quite a bit of water. I just dip my brush in the jar of water or cup of water so it's drippy, and add it to my paint, mix it around. Thin it out. You will be so glad you did. So just take a minute. Take a minute to do that. If you need to pause the video, make sure it's nice and thin. You just want it really inky, okay? All right, so here's my black. I'm gonna show you here. It's pretty thin, it's drippy. Now I like to spin my brush in my black. It gives me a nice point, right? And the first thing we always teach our artists to do when they're doing an image transfer of any shape and size is to outline it first. This gives us a clean outline to start with. Okay, you'll be really glad you did this. It just makes it easier. If you outline first, then you can come back, fill it in later, right? And it's so much easier to do. I mean, you can fill small things as you go, but you really will be so glad you outlined first. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. So instead of just coming right in with a brush and just painting the whole inside of it, I always encourage our artists to outline first. It just really makes it a cleaner, I mean, if you're a tight painter, I tend to be more of a tight painter. If you're a little more loose, awesome, go for it. They're both great. They're just different, so it's a personal preference. But I'm gonna go ahead and just outline as much as I can before moving on. Okay, so I'm gonna do her legs here. You should be able to see everything through your paint. You should not have a problem with that. If for any reason you do, okay, you can shape out these boots yourself. Just grab a pencil. Another thing you can do is put a light behind your canvas. This is a tip. If you have a pre-traced canvas from us, you'll be able to see the image through your paint if you just put a light behind the canvas. So if you start to lose your image a little bit, grab a flashlight or even a cell phone light, hold it behind your canvas, and you'll see the image come through your paint. I do this a lot sometimes. Okay, you'll be able to see the image come through your paint, and you can trace it back on with like a lead pencil, anything like that. It's really great. So yeah, don't panic if you feel like, oh no, I've lost it. I can't see my painting anymore. It's okay, don't panic. You can even contact us and we can help you too. Just send us a quick email and say, you know what, we have a little predicament. We love to help you out with those things. All right, I got this little shoe here. Love her boots, they're so fun. Okay, kind of curling the top there. I'm gonna give her more of a heel. There it is. She's just swinging her legs. So I am gonna fill in my boots right now. Oh, got white in my black. There we go. With my little brush, just a lot easier. With this brush to do it. Sorry, I get so focused sometimes I have to remember I'm trying to talk, because whenever I'm doing outlining, I focus so hard. Ooh, on lines. Okay. Now we'll do this one while we're at it. Just fill it in. I'm very careful with detail brushes because we don't want to lose that fine tip. And if you paint large amounts of space with it, you'll start to lose that fine tip on your brush. So be sure to only paint the smaller areas with the detail brush. Save the bigger ones for a medium flat or something. Yeah, you'll be glad you did. Okay, got our knee here. All right, awesome, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna paint the inside of her with a medium flat brush. That's why I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna go ahead and come over here and do the smaller part of the tree with my detail brush. It goes on pretty quick if you are sure to add water to your black. It'll go on pretty quick. And remember with this branch, when you are doing these lines with your detail brush, don't get discouraged if your lines are thicker than mine, okay? Remember, it's a tree branch. There's a lot of room for unique brush strokes because branches are all different. We put the pattern on there for you just as a guide, but you can get creative with this tree branch. You can extend it, add leaves, anything you want, right? There's lots of room for you to be creative. In fact, every time I've painted this tree branch, I kind of add something different. My branch tends to change as I go. All right, I'm gonna fill this in though, the smaller area. There we go. But I outlined it first before I fill it in. All right, so now I'm just gonna add little things to my branch here to make it unique. So I'm gonna come here to the side first and let's just give it a little twig. All right, you can just add a little twig there. Let's see, let's do a little one here, just like that. And then if you want, you can add another little twig. This is where you can just do whatever your heart desires on this branch. Have a little bit of fun with it. I kind of tend to do V shapes at the end of my branches with maybe another little twig sticking out somewhere, but that's what my brain does. It doesn't mean your brain has to do that. You can do anything you want here. Let's see, I'm going to do another little twig maybe coming off here. There we go. This one here, I'm just going to V-shape it and then maybe do a third little branch going off. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. Let's see. I'm going to go up top here and put in my wings. And again, if you can't see the wings through your canvas, okay, now that you've painted over them, this is something you can just paint yourself. Get creative and paint your own, or get that light and shine it through your canvas so you can see your wings. Okay, but all you're doing is creating this teardrop shape. Okay, yours, obviously, you shape out the top here. Mine goes off my canvas, but you're gonna shape yours. This one kind of goes off your canvas on the corner. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and come down on each side and just curve my brush, giving it that teardrop shape. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's start at the base, and again, here's our teardrop right here. I'm gonna come around. I'm trying to do it without picking up my brush, and that is hard to do if you don't have enough water in your paint. Okay, you wanna make sure your paint is nice and thin. Find a place to relax your wrist on your canvas, right? So you can steady that hand. But some of your brush strokes are going to just be thicker than others, you know? That is okay. It's a painting, not a print. It's supposed to have those imperfect strokes. That's what makes it beautiful. So there's our wings. Let's just let that dry a minute and come on down and finish up our tree trunk. Almost there. I'm gonna outline it. Now you can see I have all these little loops in my tree trunk. I tend to just add them for fun because, you know, it gives it some character. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're gonna go all the way across. Now I'm gonna switch brushes, okay? So I can fill in my fairy and my tree trunk. So I'm using my small flat now. I loaded it with black. This also just makes it so your paint goes on nice and smooth instead of clumpy. Gives it a smoother look about it. Fills it in so much better for you. I think you'll be happier if you switch to a flat to do the bigger parts. But now that you've already outlined her, you don't have to take the time to get super close to those edges and be really slow about it. You can just kind of fill this in fairly quickly, right? It's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna fill it in there and go ahead and fill in our trunk here. You can wrap your canvas, go around the side, and paint the trunk on the side of your canvas as well. That way it goes all the way around and looks finished on all sides. Some of our artists prefer not to do that. That's totally a preference thing. But if you're going to put it on display like we hope you are, it's kind of nice to have all of the sides done. All right, she looks so great. So we're just going to let her dry a second, and let's go paint our hair down here. Our little hair. I'm going to outline him first. You're going to want to do that again, right? Outline him. This little head here. Wraps around. And then we have his ears just going right off the canvas. I'm just going to brush it off. And our other ear comes down and around. Now we'll show that separation with a highlight in a little bit. Right now you're just going to see a big, big black ear, right? But we'll come back with a highlight and show that he has two ears coming right off the canvas. This is where you're going to see that your sky right here, it's not a big deal if it's imperfect in any way, because it just gets hidden with our hair. Okay, now let's go ahead and keep following it down. Okay, I'm coming around the cute little paws here. Do this one too. And this little belly curves around. I'm going to give him one little foot here that's going to show. The other one gets hidden with the grass, right? So not too worried about that. Okay, curves around here. And give him a little tail sticking out over there. Now let's fill in his little paws. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to switch to my small flat brush again to fill in our hair. Again, you can pause the video if you need to take just a minute to finish outlining him. Unfortunately, I have to move fairly quickly when recording these, but you can pause it. Okay, so once we've painted in our hair, we're literally going to add hair to our hair. I kind of love doing it. If you want to leave it like this, you can. I just love adding this fun little fur. So if you want to start at the top of the head, I just take my detail brush and kind of curve this fun little hair, some long, some short, just kind of random, you know, coming down a little bit towards his ears. It just makes it super cute. I just love it. And I'm going to come down here around his neck and add a couple like this. You just kind of brush out. You can do big strokes, little strokes. Just have some fun with it. Brush out and see where that brush lands. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just, it adds so much character and makes it super fun. Okay, so I'm just going to keep brushing all the way down about there and stop as his little arms come into focus. And then I'm going to add just a couple here below to his belly, just like that. And then his back, just brushing those little brush strokes out. some facing up, some down. It's kind of like when you're doing grass. When you're painting grass, which we're going to do here in a minute, the more imperfect it is, the better. It makes it feel a little more real. Isn't that cute? I love it. Okay, so we have our little heron and our fairy is drying. So let's have some fun with the grass and the flowers. I'm going to show you how to do all that. Okay, first things first, let's take a large or medium flat brush, rinse it off, make sure it's clean, and kind of dry it off too for this part. We don't want it too wet. Okay, and I'm going to float the top of my hill here. I'm going to put a little bit of black on the corner of my brush. Okay, face that black up and follow the top. If you prefer to do this with a line brush and just outline it, you can do that too. I just like to float it because it fades a little bit into the blue, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It gives it shades in different areas that maybe you weren't planning on having, and your brush is just providing it for you. I just kind of love that. I don't have to work too hard to have that. All right, now once that's done, I'm going to take a little bit of what's left on my brush here and just kind of brush it in around my hair, the black, to give it some shadow there. Okay, just like that. Now you're just brushing a little bit of black in there. I'm going to do the same over here below, brushing a little bit of black in, just like that. Okay, now let's put a little bit of black on our brush, just like this. Okay, and I'm going to come up, pull up from the bottom to give us some grass, some shadow there. So just pull up with your brush, kind of let it flick and fade, but you can kind of see how it gives us that grass without us working too hard for it. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to do a little bit on the top of this hill as well. Just follow it along here, just along the edge. Just pulling up from the hill. It gives us that illusion like there's grass along the top of the hill without us working very hard for it. Right? All the way across there. Perfect. Just like that. And then do the same here behind our little hair. I'm just going to brush up. Okay. And underneath the hair. But if you can get totally creative here and add as much grass as you want to this landscape. If you want taller or shorter, that's up to you. Totally up to you. Okay, isn't that pretty? And it just doesn't take a lot of time. All right, so now that that's done, let's add some flowers and grass. So I'm going to take my detail brush now, load it up with some black, just like that. Okay, now let's go here and start off by giving us kind of a pattern to go by. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and I have one strand of grass that comes straight up to about right here where her boot is. So I'm going to start right here in the corner and brush straight up. And remember, this is a weed or a flower, okay? It doesn't have to have a perfect stroke. You're just giving yourself a guide, okay? So I have one here. I have, let's see, we're gonna do a flower now. So I'm gonna create a V shape coming out this way, and the flower curves. So give it a little hook, okay? Give it a little hook at the end. And you see how you have your V shape now? Okay, just like that. Okay, now that you've done your V shape, we're going to add one more coming right off the canvas, slightly above your hook. Whoop, right there. Okay, so this is your guide now. Not so bad, right? Okay, let's add another one now. Coming here, it comes right to the other side of her toe, just like that. So I'm giving myself a stroke, just to the other side of her toe. And then we have another flower coming up here next to it. So you're gonna add another hook, just like that. These are fun flowers. I think you're gonna have fun doing them with me. All right, we have one more flower, and it just kind of curves in between the two of these. Okay, so it's gonna come up here and curve in between the two. So give it a hook there, right up the middle, right? Now the others are just grasses. So I'm gonna fill in the space with grass, right? Anywhere you want to fill in the space. Have some coming out here. Just kind of add to that. You have some coming in, some coming out. It's just totally up to you. Okay, right now it looks kind of funny, but we're gonna fill it in. All right, let's let that be for just a minute. Let's go over here and add some grasses. Okay, just kind of a little bit of grass strokes. The fun thing with grass is you can just bring your brush up and let it land where it lands, and it's perfectly okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a certain way. You're just giving yourself some grass and letting your brush decide where it's gonna go. I'm gonna come along and add a couple of little pieces here, wherever I want. Just kind of brush up and give it that extra detail. All right, love it. Okay. Now let's give ourselves a couple over here to balance our painting. I'm gonna just bring some coming up around our hair, coming right off the canvas. Some taller than others, right? There it is. Straight down the side of your canvas. Okay, we're all balanced now. Now we can do the fun stuff and fill it in. So now that you have all your different little twigs and grasses, okay, let's start with the easy ones, right? This is just a press with your brush, okay? So let's start with this one here. This one's kind of fun. You're gonna first just give yourself a couple of twigs. So I'm gonna make some V shapes. Just bring it out on different levels. You can do big ones, small, okay? You can do them the same. You can do them close together like that. You can do shorter ones. You can do longer ones. Just give yourself a couple of different branches, okay? And then you're gonna take your brush and literally press. So you're just going to start at the top, press with the tip of your brush. See how I'm just pressing? That press will just automatically give you a flower without you or little leaves without you working too hard for them. Awesome. Okay, the top you can do two, make that heart shape, or you can just do one at the top and then follow it with these other little ones. If you've painted with us at our studio before, then you've probably done these before. This is one of our favorites to do because it's just so pretty without having to work too hard for it. And I love it. It just makes me happy to press and get this result without a lot of effort. I fill in these little, you can fill in any space you want to. I like making that heart shape sometimes. And you can be pretty quick about it. You really don't have to spend a lot of time because it's not going to be looked at that closely. It just isn't, you know. You're going to be putting highlights on it and everything else, and people aren't even going to be paying attention to all that. Oh, I forgot my branches. Okay. Pay attention, Sarah. So we're going to add a couple branches on this one as well. Anywhere you want. You can make it smaller, or you can make it a little more. That's up to you. I kept a lot of them pretty simple because, you know, I don't want it to take too much time, but it's enough that it gives us some detail that we want. Okay, so we got that one. Let's do one more over here. It's just kind of going off our canvas, so I'm just going to add a couple of little branches to that one and just start filling it in. If you refer to the reference picture, you'll notice it might be a little different because every time you do these, you're going to find that you press differently, and that's okay. It's just, it's normal. However your hand is going to press, it's going to press. And it depends on your brush. Sometimes our brush does something different. Okay. I'm going to press a couple of these in to fill the space. Yeah, let's see. We'll just put another little branch there. Okay, perfect. And you're going to do the same over here. So if you want to, you can go ahead and just add a couple little branches here. And put one right there, one shooting up here. The idea is to just fill in space wherever you're wanting to. Okay, and then you just press to put those easy little branches on there. Oh, this I'm going to put a little heart at the top, all the way down. This one here, it looks like a chicken foot when you're pressing sometimes. Just kind of fun. Just quickly filling in space and making it full. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just making sure here. I like that. That's good. Okay, let's do these flowers. I'm going to show you how to do these fun flowers. Okay, now just imagine you're creating an upside down V shape with a curve at the end. Okay, so we're going to do this one first. You're just creating a V with a curve. So start at the base of your hook. Okay, and you're going to curve it out with one. So you're making another hook. And then we're going to curve out the other side as well. See that? Okay, it looks like you've almost made a triangle shape with curves, right? Okay, so there's our triangle shape. And now we're going to add to it another V shape, but it's going to go underneath. Now this V can be longer or shorter than the others. It can even go around. So if I scoop this up and go over my other one, you can do that too. See that? Okay. I mean, this is totally up to you. I'm going to put a little bit of white on my brush so you can see it better. I'm gonna do it gray. You aren't gonna do it gray. I'm doing it gray, okay? I'm doing it gray so you can see it. So I'm swooping it this way, and then I'm swooping it the other direction. See that? Okay, does that help you see it a little better? And then you're gonna make a smaller one underneath. It can go right above it, just like that, or below it. That's just up to you, okay? You can add another little one right here if you want to. All right, so let's do the next one. I'm gonna do it white so you can see it really well. So we're gonna create, where's my white? There it is. Okay, so let's go over here to this hook. You're going to create that V shape. So here's our V, one there, and we're adding another one. See that? Almost looks like a mustache, actually. Let's go with mustache. I like mustache better. All right, and now we're gonna create another one. It can be smaller or it can be bigger, okay? It's gonna go right underneath, just like that. And then I like to just add one more sometimes just to make it a little. So can you see that better now that it's white? I'm gonna paint it black. I don't want it white, but I'm doing it white for you so you can see it. Okay, so let's do the next one. We're gonna come over here and paint a swoop. And another swoop, right? Create your mustache. I'm calling it a mustache now. I like that better. Okay, create your mustache. And then underneath, you're gonna give yourself another one, either smaller or bigger, just like that. And then one more. There you go. You've got your cute flowers. Okay, now I want those black. I'm gonna paint them black in a minute. I just wanted to make sure you could see them really well. Did we forget anything? No, that is so beautiful. Okay, let's let our flowers dry a second and go up here to our fairy wings and finish them off. I'm gonna do teardrop shapes in my wings. You can really do anything you want to do, right? I mean, we left it up to you. But here's a teardrop. I'm gonna do a teardrop there, and then I'm doing this upside down. Oh my goodness. Okay, one there. I actually did this holding it last time in my lap. Oh man, if you feel more comfortable doing that, please do it. Okay, I'm gonna add another teardrop up there at the top. Now with this one, I'm going to do a heart shape, like this. So like I'm doing a teardrop, but I'm creating a heart at the top and then connecting them. I kind of like that. Oh man, I hope I can do this upside down, guys. Okay, here's my teardrop there. I'm gonna just make them smaller as I come down. So here's my next one, and now here I'm gonna put a smaller one. Ooh, okay, all right, I did that. Okay, and now this wing is gonna be like the first one I did. So I'm gonna do a teardrop here. And then instead of doing 3 of them, like I did the second wing, I'm doing the same as the top. So here we go. That teardrop's interesting. Okay, all right, we're rolling with this. Okay, now we're going to do another heart. Let's see. Starting here, give myself this heart shape. And then once again, I'm gonna do our biggest teardrop. And then a smaller one. And then an even smaller one here. There we go. Love it. Okay, now let's do her hair. This, we left the hair for you as well, so you can get totally creative on this, right? You can follow me and do these little swirls if you want to. Or you can do your own thing. I'm just going to have a little bit of fun with my brush here and give her these fun curls. Okay. So you can just follow the outline and give her all these little random curls coming down. Let's see. Yeah. I like to come up and over the opposite direction as I go. Just makes it kind of fun. Okay. So you just keep filling this in. Have some hair sneaking out in different areas. There we go. Some curling in, some curling out. Some longer than others. Give her little curls. I mean, you can have all kinds of fun here. You can make it really big hair or keep it kind of small. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to add a couple sneaking out here in front, like this. And another one here. All right. Now for her little skirt here, we're going to have it swooping out. And do a couple of them. Coming out on the bottom here. You can decide how you want to do this, but just curve it a little bit, make it look like you have some longer ones and some shorter. There you go. Good work, good work. Okay, all you have left now is to add the highlighting, and then you're done, guys. So let's just make sure our flowers are black. I'm gonna make sure they're black since I showed you how. So we have the V shape. I'm gonna make sure they're all black now. These are kind of fun flowers. All right, so let's rinse our brush really well. Make sure you have some clean white handy for our highlighting. I'm going to put some white on my detail brush now, just like that. Okay, and let's start with our branch here. I'm going to just add a couple little swirls of white wherever I think the light might be touching my branch. Put a little bit on her knee and her boots here. Just helps show them off a little bit, right? I'm just taking the white here and adding that light. Okay, and I put a little bit here on the front of her face where I feel like the light from the moon might be catching it, and along her hair. Nope, I got some black on my brush, so you can't really see that. I'll have to come back to it. I'm rinsing my brush. I've got some black on it, and if that happens to you, stop painting, right? Stop painting. Rinse your brush. Okay, let's go down here. Give that a minute to dry. And let's put some white in our tree branch here. You can do this however you want. I'm doing about 3 different sizes here. Just totally random. And some over there. I'm gonna put a couple here. Okay. There we go. Now we'll go back to the hair. Put that in there. Now I'm just gonna add some to my wings right along the curve where I want it to stand out. I can't really do that one, but I follow the curve of that as well. And you can put it anywhere. Put that light anywhere you really want it to look like those wings are glistening a little bit, right? I'm just following the top of my wings. It helps it stand out a little bit against the color. some here. There we go. Isn't that nice? Just adds a little bit to it. Okay, I think it's looking good. Let's start over by our hair and add some light to his nose, maybe a little eye if you want to. And then this is where you can separate the ear. See, I'm gonna add a little light to the ear, and that way it helps it stand out if you want to. Okay, and a little bit here on his neck. You can put some if you want to in his hair. I didn't do a whole lot. I just did, well, I'm not gonna do one there. Yeah, just did a little bit of highlighting there. And then, this is kind of fun. You can just dot some of your petals here. If you want to dot some of them. Anywhere you think that light might be catching them. See how that just helps make them pop a little bit? And I'm doing that on all of my grasses that I want to have just hitting the light a little bit. Okay, you don't have to do all of them. This is totally up to you. Wherever you think, the light might be catching some of those grasses, then you can add some white to it. I'm gonna do the same over here. Anywhere I'm thinking, oh, I want the light to look like it's hitting that little strand of grass, then I'm gonna add some light to it. Just like that. And then I'm gonna paint over it actually with some turquoise in a minute. I love doing stuff like that. Okay, and then same thing here with these little leaves. I'm just gonna add a little dot of white to them so they stand out. I'm not doing them on every single petal, it's just a couple of them. Some of them are in shadows, some of them aren't, so you can kind of decide on that. Just kind of dot them. I'm not being super picky about it. I'm just randomly filling a couple of them. And then our flowers, I'm going to pick 3 of my flower petals to add light to. So any of them that you feel, okay, I want the light to touch that, then go ahead and do a little stroke of white on it. And then we're going to put that pink on the petal, and it just looks so pretty. And put one here, here, there, just like that. Ooh, I love it. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for a second, rinse my brush. Okay, now this is kind of fun. I'm going to add color now to my silhouette. Okay, so you can choose any colors you want. What I did was anywhere the moon's touching my tree, close to my pink, I did those stripes on my tree pink. Okay, anywhere the purple or the turquoise is touching, I painted it purple. So this area over here is more in the purple, so I'm going to paint it purple. See that? Kind of fun. Her boots are kind of in the pink here. So I put a little bit of pink in her boots. It just kind of brings some color into our silhouette and makes it stand out, which I just love. Same with my flowers. I'm going to come up, I chose pink because I just love the color on the flowers. So I'm showing a reflection of pink on them. If you want to change that and do them turquoise or purple, go for it. I just think that's perfect. It's so pretty. Same with the grass over here. I just imagined some of that pink reflecting on the grass. So I quickly brushed some of my pink over the white in my grass. Very simple way of adding color. Right? Okay, and then the grasses down here, I took some turquoise on my brush and just quickly brushed in a little bit of turquoise over the top. and gave it that reflection. Kind of fun and simple, not a lot of effort, but adds a lot of color to our painting. All right, guys, the last thing we're gonna do is add that glitter or fairy dust, stars, whatever you want to call it, to our painting. And we do that by just taking our largest brush, flipping it over, and making ourselves a chocolate chip with the white. Okay, get a good amount on there, right? And we're just going to dot as if we're stamping those dots onto our canvas. Now, if we press hard, you're going to get a bigger dot, right? You can do different sizes depending on how hard you press. And one thing I love to do is keep my dots in threes. I tend to try and keep them clustered in threes. It just lays nicer for me and balances my painting a little bit better. But it's not always the case. It's just in my brain as I go. I tend to keep it in threes. I'm going to add a little bit of light just coming down here towards my hair, into the grass. I'm going to come up here now to the wings and do the same thing. I kind of have my cluster of 3 going on. You can have them landing in the wings. Dropping down here. And I don't fill all the space. I don't want a pattern necessarily. I'm trying to keep it a little bit random as we drop these little light dots coming all the way through, even on our tree trunk. Just keep dipping your brush in that paint as it comes down into your flowers and your grasses. Put a little bit here, but I didn't want it to distract too much from the grass down here like that. Put a couple of them here under her foot. Let's see. Yeah, I like that. So pretty. Okay, so you can just keep adding them until you are totally happy. I'm gonna stop and leave it. I noticed that I didn't add my highlights to the top of my flower here. I wanted the light to be touching the top and it helps show them off a little bit. See that? So if you wanna add that too. All right, you guys, you did it. Wow, that was a big painting, but I hope it turned out beautiful. I'm sure it did. Please share it with us. We want to see your work. But I hope you had fun doing this mystical painting with me. I'm going to find a little spot for my signature. Put my signature on there. Kind of have it hidden here in my flowers. But we want to sign our canvas, right? All right, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up, and we hope to paint with you another time. We'll see you later. Bye.